Yeah, see, you're never gonna take me alive, copper. Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories. I'm your host, Edward G. Robinson. Just kidding, it's actually Brian Davis, as you might have guessed, and that was my lame attempt at doing Edward G. Robinson. So this week's episode is going to be about gangsters, crime films, and pretty much how the mafia has been portrayed throughout film's history. My favorite films have always been, gangster films have always been from the 30s and 40s, but we kind of run the gamut here, and you're going to get a wide range of, mob movies that people enjoy. One caveat I put in here is I realize that The Godfather is the best gangster film or mafia film, and it's actually one of the best films ever created. But we wanted more than that, because I didn't want this to just be a Godfather episode. So if someone mentions The Godfather, we definitely get into it. We acknowledge its excellence, but I'm going to, in my personal top 10 list, avoid The Godfather, and it's basically my favorites besides The Godfather Parts 1 and 2. Okay, so number 10 on my list is Angels with Dirty Faces from 1938. So it's funny, when I first saw this movie, I kept waiting for the scene with snakes because I remembered seeing this film in Home Alone. But the problem with those scenes in Home Alone was that wasn't a real movie. That was a parody created specifically for Home Alone and was called Angels with Filthy Souls. So I was totally expecting to see that really funny caption and with the machine gun and all that, and it just didn't happen. But I'm sure I'm not the only one that was confused by this. Anyway, Angels with Dirty Faces is a classic gangster movie starring James Cagney and Pat O'Brien, and they had a fabulous supporting cast with Humphrey Bogart and Sheridan, and then the Dead End Kids. So if you don't know already, the plot is Cagney and O'Brien are old school buddies who as kids were delinquents. However, as they grew up, they chose different paths in life. Cagney, of course, chose to continue with his criminal ways and became a high-profile gangster, while O'Brien became a priest. When Cagney returns to his old neighborhood, the parish kids become infatuated with Cagney because he's like a superhero. But O'Brien, who's the priest, is worried about the negative influence that Cagney might have on the impressionable kids. So the movie's really well done, and it's kind of the times. And if you're into classic gangster films, this is really, really well done.
Asking questions again, huh? Listen, somebody tells you're going to stick your nose and you're going to get something in it.
Well, I only thought it was...
Shut up! Now look, you don't know anything about this, see?
No, I don't know nothing.
But you do know what guys get who talk.
Number 9 is Scarface from 1932. Now, most people will probably pick the most popular version, which is Al Pacino's from 1983. And while I understand the significance in the gangster genre regarding that film, I'm going with the 1932 version because for the time, it was really violent and really gritty. However, and actually, I don't even own the 1983 version of Scarface. This is the version I own in my own personal collection. There are a few similarities between the two movies, but for the most part, they're completely different plot-wise. For one, Scarface in 1932 was a pre-movie code film, and therefore the filmmakers could get away with a lot more violence than when after the code was established. I mean, of course, this changed in the 1960s, but I'm talking about in the 30s and 40s. So Scarface is loosely based on the life of Al Capone, and basically is the rise and fall of a gangster in the 1920s. Paul Muni is brilliant as Tony Comante, that's Scarface, and he really owns this role as the tyrannical gangster. So if you're a fan of old gangster movies or any sort of mob movie, you should really see this version in addition to the 1983 version.
You'll be sorry for this.
Next time I catch you in a place like that again, I'll kill you.
You're telling me what to do. I'll do what I want, same as you, understand?
You listen to me.
I hate you.
Never mind what I do. That's all right. But you're gonna stay home, understand?
I'm no baby. I can take care of myself.
Yeah, running around with fellas, huh? Letting them hold you like that. Letting them look at you. Dressing up like that for fellas to see, huh?
What I do with fellas is my business.
Number 8 is Casino from 1995. This is another collaboration between Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese. It's actually their 8th film that they did together, which is kind of amazing. And so while Casino isn't quite up to the excellence as others, it's still really an entertaining film with terrific acting. Malin will eventually talk more about this film, and he'll get really into the scenery and how it is in Vegas, and it's a fascinating interview. Besides De Niro, you also get Joe Pesci, always great, and Sharon Stone, who's good, really good actually too. The one maybe drawback to some people is it's really a long film. It's almost 3 hours. So, but the movie flows and progresses well, and you really don't feel how long it is. So again, if you're into mob movies and more recent movies, and obviously if you're a fan of De Niro, you should probably check this one out.
In Vegas, everybody's got to watch everybody else. Since the players are looking to beat the casino, the dealers are watching the players. The boxmen are watching the dealers. The floormen are watching the boxmen. The pit bosses are watching the floormen. The shift bosses are watching the pit bosses. The casino manager is watching the shift bosses. I'm watching the casino manager. And the eye in the sky is watching us all. Plus, we have a dozen guys up there, most of them ex-cheats, who knew every trick in the house.
Number 7 is Bonnie and Clyde from 1967. So the first time I saw Bonnie and Clyde was in a film class that I took back in college. Taking that film class was one of the best decisions I made in my college career. I saw so many classic films, and to be able to analyze each film was really an amazing experience. So if college isn't in the cards for you, you can always use this podcast as a guide. And you know what? It's much cheaper, and I won't even require you to write a paper on each film. How's that? So if you didn't know already, the movie Bonnie and Clyde is based on the real-life criminal couple, Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker. And they wreaked havoc in the U.S. in the early 1930s. So Bonnie and Clyde went on multiple crime sprees, including robbing banks and other small businesses. So the cast in the film is tremendous. Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway play the dynamic duo. And then you get the always wonderful Gene Hackman and Gene Wilder, and they have supporting roles in the film. So if you enjoy gangster films, this is a great one to start with as well.
You're born somewhere around East Texas, right?
Yeah.
You come from a big old family? You went to school, of course, but you didn't take to it much because you was a lot smarter than everybody else, so you just haven't quit one day. Now, when you was 17, there was a guy who worked in a
Cement plant.
right, cement plant. And you liked him because he thought you were just as nice as you could be. And you almost married that guy. But then you thought, no, you didn't think you would. So then you got you your job in a cafe. And now you wake up every morning, you hate it. You just hate it. You get on down there and you put on your white uniform.
Pink. It's pink.
And them truck drivers come in there to eat your greasy burgers, and they kid you and you kid them back, but they're stupid and dumb boys with the big old tattoos on them, and you don't like it. And they ask you for dates, and sometimes you go, but you mostly don't, because all they're ever trying to do is get in your pants, whether you want them to or not. So you go on home and you sit in your room and you think, now when and how am I ever going to get away from this?
Number 6 is Key Largo from 1948. So some may argue that this is just a film noir film, and it is, but it's also got gangster elements, and I'll explain why later. But the movie stars Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall, Edward G. Robinson, who plays the gangster, Lionel Barrymore, and Claire Trevor. And, this was the 4th and final film that Bogart and Bacall starred in together. The plot is Bogart visits a rundown hotel in Key Largo. He's going to pay his respects to his friend that was killed in Bogart's military unit during World War II. So his friend's widow, played by Bacall, is now running the hotel. However, the hotel has been taken over by gangsters led by Robinson. Bogart, Bacall, and her father, who is Lionel Barrymore, end up being held captive by the gang in the hotel. So again, if you love any of these actors, this is a top-notch film.
I won't get away with it, huh? How many times I heard that from dumb coppers I couldn't count. I still say it. He'd give you a left eye to nail me, wouldn't you? Huh? You can see the headlines, can't you? Local deputy captured Johnny Rocco. Your picture's been in all the papers. You might even get the tell on the newsreel how you pulled it off. Yeah. Well, listen, Hick. I was too much for any big city police force to handle. They tried, but they couldn't. But the United States government have pinned a rap on me. Yeah, and they won't make it stick. You Hick. I'll be back pulling strings to get guys elected mayor and governor before you ever get a $10 raise. Yeah. How many of those guys in office owe everything to me? I made them. Yeah, I made them just like a tailor makes a suit of clothes. I take a nobody, see? Teach him what to say. Get his name in the papers. Now, paper his campaign expenses. Dish out a lot of groceries and coal, get my boys to bring the voters out, and then count the votes over and over again till they added up right and he was elected. Yeah. And what happened? Do you remember when the going got tough? When the heat was on? No, he didn't want it. All he wanted was to save his own dirty necks. Yeah, that's enough of that. Give me a towel, will you?
Number 5 is High Sierra from 1941. High Sierra was Humphrey Bogart's breakout role as a lead actor. Prior to this film, he was best known for playing supporting roles in many of Warner Brothers' gangster films. Ida Lupino was fabulous as Bogart's love interest and faithful partner in crime until the bitter end, not to give anything away. The mountain scenes in the Sierra Nevada are just awesome, so along with the action scenes, which makes High Sierra one of the better gangster movies of its day. Bogart, in my opinion, can do no wrong, so I'm kind of a bit biased, but if you're looking to get into his films, this is really a good one to start with. You know, it's different than his hard-boiled detective films, but in this one, he's just straight up plays the bad guy.
Well, what kept you? Ain't losing your touch, are you? Huh? Where's Big Mac? He's gone to California. I'm handling things at this end. Who are you? I'm Cranmer, Jack Cranmer. Copper, ain't you? I used to be. I resigned. I'll bet. I'm okay. You don't have to worry about me. Since when has Big Mac been teaming up with ex-coppers? I told you not to worry about that. Now, Mac wants you to start for California right away. That car downstairs is yours. Here's the keys. Now, here's your route and some dough. The sooner you get out there, the better. What's the setup? I don't suppose you ever heard of Tropico Springs? Well, it's a resort town. It's the richest little town in the world, they call it. Now, the hotel there gets all the top sugar. You're going to knock it off. Am I, Copper? Now, look here, Earl. Mac spent a fortune springing you. You're working for him now. He calls a tune and you dance to it.
Number 4 is White Heat from 1949. White Heat is one of James Cagney's last gangster film and definitely one of his best. It also stars Virginia Mayo, Edmund O'Brien, and Margaret Wycherley. This film definitely has film noir tendencies, and you know what? Most folks will remember the famous line that Cagney delivers at the end, "Made it, ma, top of the world." Cody Jarrett, that's Cagney, is a psychotic criminal who breaks out of prison. In addition to his violent psychosis, he has major mother issues, so Freud would have a field day with him. Ma Jarrett, that's Wycherley, coddles her son like he's a child, while the rest of the gang wonders what the hell they're doing to be associated with the Jarretts. Anyway, it's a great film. Even if you just want to see the very end, it's terrific. Cagney, again, like Bogart and Robinson, can do no wrong. Number 3 is Little Caesar from 1931. Now, I have a feeling some of the younger folks are going to stumble upon this and think, why is he talking about a pizza chain? No, I'm talking about the classic gangster film from 1931 starring Edward G. Robinson. Yeah, see? So Little Caesar was significant because it ushered in the modern era of gangster films at the time. So you got to remember, a lot of the gangsters were still around back then. So it's kind of insane to think about they were making films about really what was going on at the time. The film was also pre-code, which means after 1934, films had to be brought up before a commission to determine if the film was suitable for public consumption. Anything with violence, organized crime, profanity, drugs, prostitution were highly scrutinized and could not be released without major editing. Many of these pre-code movies were not seen for years after 1934 when the code was passed. However, these films are really incredibly tame for today's standards, as you can imagine. Edward G. Robinson really became a superstar for his portrayal as Rico, that's Little Caesar. And his performance was often imitated and parodied over the years. So if you really want to see his breakout role and what gangster films were like in the 1930s, you got to see Little Caesar.
Trying to put that kind of stuff about me in the papers, huh? I'll show them where they get it. Hello? Hello, listen, I want Park 1000. Yeah. I can't take it no more, huh? I'll tell that guy where it... Hello? Park 1000? Get me Flaherty and get him quick.
Sure. Just a minute. Tom. Oh, Tom. I may be screwy, but this sounds like Rico.
Yeah? Flaherty speaking. Yeah, this is Rico speaking. Rico. R-I-C-O, Rico. Little Caesar, that's who. Yeah, you're a big guy now. You're just shooting your mouth off in the papers. So I ran out when it got hot, huh? You think I can't take it no more? Well, listen, you crummy, flat-footed copper, I'll show you whether I lost my nerve and my brains.
Thanks, Rico, old boy. The same to you and many of them. Come on, tell me some more. The sound of your voice does my heart good.
Trace that call. Find out where he's phoning from quick.
Uh-huh. Say, why didn't you come to Sam's next stretching party, Rico? It was a big success.
Funny guy, ain't you, Flaherty? Well, you ain't got much longer to laugh. I'm coming after you, see, and I'm going to put one in your dirty hide for every lying crack that you made about me in the paper, see? I'm going to show you who's going to finish up in the gutter. I'll show you.
We've missed you, Rico. The town has been nice and quiet. I'm putting on weight.
River 6547. It's a flop house down at 4th and Commercial.
All right, big mouth. But you better get your hat and start running, see, because you're all through. Call up the papers and tell them that, you rotten, dirty lying copper.
Number 2 on my list is Johnny Dangerously from 1984. Now, this might seem like an oddball pick because it's a comedy, but it's great because really it's a parody of gangster films from the 1930s. If you've ever heard someone say, "You fargan icehole," you know they know about Johnny Dangerously. This movie, to me, is a forgotten gem and one of my favorites from the 1980s, and it starred Michael Keaton. So Mr. Mom really started my admiration of Michael Keaton movies, so I made a point of seeing almost all of his work in the 1980s. So as I said before, Johnny Dangerously is a parody of all the great and not so great gangster films from the 1930s. There are tons of amazing lines in the film that are just hilarious, but the character that was most quoted at my school was Roman Maroney. So basically, you could yell obscenities at school without getting in trouble, or so we thought. And also, there's a PSA, public service announcement scene, where Johnny is trying to convince his brother Tommy to go to law school instead of getting married. And the only reason he wanted to get married was because he wanted to get laid. It's just hilarious. So again, if you're into comedies, you're into old gangster films, this is a must-see.
Bundy's gang is here.
What's that bastage want, huh?
How's tricks, Maroney?
What are you doing here, icehole?
Hey, can a fellow enjoy a night out gambling with some of his pals?
Don't bullshit me. Search the summon up batch.
Hey, we're clean, Maroney. You see, I don't bear no grudges, even though you boys have been muscling in on my territory. Why do you do that, Maroney?
It's a free country, icehole.
We're clean, boss.
Okay, you and the rest of your bastages can gamble. But don't try no fargan trick. Otherwise, you wind up with your bells in a sling.
What a mouth on that guy.
All right, you made it all the way to the end. So number 1 on my list, that isn't The Godfather, is Goodfellas from 1990. Goodfellas was one of the best gangster movies of any era and stars Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and is directed by Martin Scorsese. So like The Godfather, I can pretty much watch Goodfellas at any time and immediately be glued to the set. The story of Goodfellas is based on the 1986 book Wise Guy, which depicts the life of Henry Hill, played by Liotta, and it's about his mob dealings between 1955 and 1980. What I found amazing is that Henry ratted out everyone and lived to tell about it. He made a deal with the feds and was put into witness protection. However, he called into the Howard Stern show years after this movie was made and never seemed to be worried about getting knocked off. He eventually died of heart disease in 2012. So again, there are so many great scenes and great lines in this, but of course, never tell Tommy, that's Joe Pesci, to get a shine box. Anyway, this was a lot of fun to come up with the top 10 list, so now you get to hear what everyone else thinks, and it's going to be great because there's a ton of other films on there that weren't mentioned in my top 10 list, so I hope you enjoy, and I'll be back to wrap this all up.
Salud, Tommy.
No more shines, Billy.
What?
I said no more shines. Maybe you didn't hear about it. You've been away a long time. They didn't go up there and tell you. I don't shine shoes anymore.
Relax, will you? For crying out, what's getting to you? I'm breaking your balls a little bit, that's all. I'm only kidding with you.
Sometimes you don't sound like you're kidding. You know, there's a lot of people around.
I mean, I'm only kidding with you. We're having a party. I mean, I just came home. I haven't seen you in a long time, and I'm breaking your balls, and you're right away you're getting fucking fresh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you.
I'm sorry, too. It's okay. No problem.
Okay, salud. Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Motherfucking you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. Come on. Let him go.
You bought his fucking button, that fake tough guy. You bought your fucking button, you fake tough guy. You motherfucker.
Come on.
Fuck, keep that motherfucker here. Keep him here. Come on.
Fast. Come on, you
Okay, so we're back with Sarah, who is, again, my good friend and the best hairdresser ever.
I'm the funniest person.
And the funniest.
I make you even funnier.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. No, and vice versa. Because you're only as funny as the people you're around, you know?
Right.
So I always tell when I have friends that go, I'm not really that funny. I'm all, with me you are.
Yeah.
Because I help you.
You do help. So this time we're going to talk about maybe not so much of a funny subject.
Funny. No.
We're going to talk about your favorite mafia/gangster films. So.
Oh, God, this is like I have to warm up for this. Being Italian, I take these ones, and being a very, let's just say, I asked my mom once if she thought I was like a vengeful person, and she paused and she said, well, let's just put it this way. If somebody takes your parking spot, you'll wait 20 years and let the air out of their tires if you see their car again. I'm like, okay, sounds reasonable. You'll probably hear me talk about that a lot, like payback. That's like a big thing for me.
Payback's good, yeah.
Right, so, yes, Mafia, are we talking just De Niro movies? Just
You talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, so my favorite, one of my favorites, my favorite scene of any.
I think I know what you're going to say.
I think I do, is from A Bronx Tale. Yep. And it is the bar scene that I just where those bikers come in and they freaking get all mouthy, you know.
Yeah.
And the part that is like the ultimate payback where it's like, okay, even after he says, okay, be nice, and they're like, yeah, we'll just be nice, and then they blow the beer everywhere, and he shuts the door. He's like, no, you just can't leave. And I love that he says it in the total dago, you just can't leave. And they're like, just the way it's narrated by that guy, it was like so awesome. And then and I love Chaz Palminteri. Yeah. Like, love him. Like, if he showed up, I would leave you here to clean up.
Which you're going to do anyway.
Right. Yeah. No, so that is probably one of my favorite. And the soundtrack is phenomenal, I think.
Yes.
These are my rules. I make them up. So...
thank you, George Carlin.
Yeah, thank you. So what's the other ones that the ones True Story, which would be, Henry Hill is, which Ray Liotta.
Goodfellas.
Yes, that's another. And I think because it's true. Obviously, I like anything that's a true story. It kind of I get into it a little bit more. I know a lot of them are based on things, like loosely based. Like obviously, Casino was based on some which my cat was almost named after Ace and Ginger. Right. We had that discussion earlier.
Yes.
And Joe Pesci, he's like, I wonder if we did a countdown of like how many he was in, and the guy who like kind of looks like Paulie Walnuts, who, what's one of the worst scenes I saw was when Joe Pesci and his brother, or the guy who plays his brother, get buried in the desert alive.
Yes.
That I was like, that one kind of left me a little bit. But the guy who plays his brother, he's like always that random guy in all those movies, right?
And that's what's great about all these Scorsese. They bring everyone back. Like they
always have a bat with them. Take a bat to somebody.
Yes.
I know I'm missing some. Do you have an opinion on this, or is it just...
I do, but usually I do that in the beginning. I talk about my favorites, but no, for you, because you're a special guest, I will go through it. And so I love the original. So obviously I love the ones you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the ones with James Cagney, the ones with Edward G. Robinson, like Little Caesar, and the original Scarface with Paul Muni, like those were super violent before the code came in. So those are fascinating to watch. But the whole those
right. You're going for the
Bogart was basically a bad guy in most of those early films. So
I didn't know that. Now I'm going to have even more so. I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
But there you go. There's also fun villains because those are all those Cagney guys and Look Mom and Top of the World.
It's funny about villain. It's like Robert De Niro is probably one of my favorite villains just because I like him no matter what. Him and John Travolta. Like I don't care what you play. I'm just going to dig you.
Was Gene Hackman ever in a gangster movie?
I think him and Richard Pryor pretended to be gangster in a movie. I don't know if it was what movie were they in together? One on one. But they're like, "Yo, what it is?" Yeah. Like that. And one of them was blind. Was Gene's.
That was with the Gene Wilder.
Oh, sorry.
Gene Wilder. That was See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Oh God, who were you asking me about?
So Gene Hackman.
Oh, that guy. Yes, sorry.
Because he often plays a villain.
Yes, he is. He is pretty.
But was he ever in a gangster movie?
You know what? I don't think so. Not that I can. I mean, he played probably a man that was involved in some shady stuff.
Yeah.
But God, I can't even think of one of them. I see his face and everything, but I can't tell you what the last thing I saw him in. Can you come in?
I can't. That's why I'm asking you. And
Okay,
you're letting me
so
down.
that's it.
Yeah.
So I actually don't care much about the Scarface movies. It was never my thing.
The one with Pacino.
I'm like, as far if you wouldn't really consider that a mafia movie, that's more like a
it's a gangster movie.
Mexican mafia. Well, it was like
Well,
all
Cuban,
Miami,
right?
Cuban, right? That has the most famous quotes. People freaking constantly. People who've probably never seen that movie will say hello to my little friend
exactly
all the time.
Yes. Or was it the whole college frat boy that has the Scarface poster over his
God, yeah. So, if you're a girl, ladies listening, if you walk into anyone's room and they have that poster, you probably want to turn around and walk out.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess.
He gets no action.
Right,
Yes.
and that he's still on his parents' payroll and has their gas card.
Yes.
Probably that's it. Those are my two. Let me see. Casino. Casino, Goodfellas, and Bronx Tale. Probably my top three.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here with Mikkel, who was gracious enough to be on the podcast. He took a few weeks off, but that's okay. He was just preparing for the gangsters and the mafia that we're going to talk about. So he's got a good list. So what are the ones that are your personal favorite?
So I have a handful of movies, and I don't know if there's anything particular that they all have in common. But of the recent ones I've seen that I remember are The Departed. That was a very gritty movie with a lot of plot twists, and that was really surprising to watch. Another one, Scarface, obviously, is, I would say, a top favorite in the gangster.
So it's Scarface from 1983 with Pacino.
Yes, the Pacino Scarface is a pretty iconic movie, very quotable. And then another movie that I remember watching growing up was Blood In and Blood Out.
Okay.
I think I must have seen it at school one day when the teacher didn't feel like teaching and just...
They played that for you?
Yeah. I mean, being a kid in the inner city, you watch movies that are not necessarily appropriate or educational.
That's the movie with the guy who says, I'm brown on the inside.
That guy, yeah, he's a coconut. He's white, brown on the outside, white on the inside, or something like that.
I think he was a white dude. I think he had blue eyes and everything. He was brown on the inside.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
We were looking up before because I've never actually seen the movie. I want to see it now. It sounds good. Okay, so what about The Departed stuck out for you? What was?
Well, The Departed, that movie was just so full of unexpected things. Being a cop and also being a criminal and what it means to have a family. Who is your family really? And just I'm not gonna give away the plot details, but it just brings about that notion that, at least in the gangster sense of things, that it's supposed to represent a family or an entity that is supposed to protect you. It really does question who should you trust in all the people that you know, and who really is your family.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the Jack Nicholson character is based on Whitey Bulger, who that's all going on currently. And there was a Johnny Depp movie recently about him. So Black Mass. Yeah. And then Scarface. So did Scarface scar you, or was it something? Because there's a lot of brutal stuff in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, Scarface, I see it more as a corporate business type of training video, a really long one. There's a lot of cocaine, but I think if you strip away everything else, it really sends a managerial message of you need to have all your ducks in a row. You need to have good management, and then work hard, and you'll make it to the top. So it's like the American dream personified, where somebody who had nothing, came to be the most notorious, most powerful person in the city, and the quick fall or his quick demise basically because he failed to follow his own rules.
That's right.
So that's kind of like the lesson there.
Yeah. It's easy to follow your rules when you don't have anything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So those are great. Thank you, Mikkel.
Right.
All right, Dane's also here, so we'll keep going. So you have a trilogy that I never actually heard of, so I want to hear about it.
Okay, so the movie I was going to bring up is the movies, I guess, is the called the Pusher trilogy, and the first movie is called Pusher, and then second one is Pusher 2 with a subtitle I don't quite recall. Then there was Pusher 3, I think Angel of Death or something, which doesn't it's not the most creative, come to think of it. But in any case, the director is Nicholas Winding Refn. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And he's only kind of fairly recently found some fame, some measure of success in the U.S. He did the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling. And
which is a dark movie.
Right. So I guess his contribution is the gangster film, but with kind of a new wave, a synth pop sort of soundtrack.
Okay.
And he's done some other movies. He did a movie called Bronson about not Charles Bronson, but the most notorious British criminal. I guess it was just so awful. Like no police. 3 policemen would just like be hesitant to just grab him because he's good. And that Tom Hardy played that.
Okay. And, so this is a UK film?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe it is. And so this director is, he was behind Drive. And so, in all of his movies, he's got like kind of an 80s soundtrack or 80s influenced soundtrack going on. And this also goes for the Pusher trilogy. So the first Pusher was a late 90s film, and of all the locations for it to be set in, it's Copenhagen, Denmark.
Oh, really?
And the director is Danish.
Got it.
So, one of the most peaceful major cities in America is, the setting for this gangster film. And so the first one kind of went under the radar, and while it was acclaimed, he actually bested himself with the sequel. And in fact, the sequel to the sequel, the third installment has got like the most rave reviews. And it kind of, each series kind of, or each installment is kind of focused on a character who was a minor player in the previous film. And then, they're kind of like a rise to the forefront in the new films.
That's kind of cool, because then it kind of keeps going in a different way. Yeah.
So I haven't seen this movie, so how would you recommend to watch this trilogy?
Yeah.
I guess you'll just have to, I guess I should officially recommend iTunes or something.
Yeah.
It was on Netflix.
Right. And rate and review the show, please.
Yeah. But like, like in 2011 or something, it was on Netflix.
Sure.
It's been off for a long time now. But all 3 of them are on there. But it's recommended. I mean, it does have subtitles, and I found myself finding it harder to pay attention to movies with subtitles, just as smartphones are so compelling.
Sure.
And everything, but that's one way to watch it. And he's a pretty cool director. He seems to have lost some momentum. Drive, he got a lot of attention for it, but then he's had some follow-up movies with Ryan Gosling. Where there's one based in Thailand, where he was some kind of boxer or something.
Yeah.
And he got a little too big for his britches, and he got beaten to hell. But but it was that one wasn't so critically acclaimed, but it's still very interesting. He's always very stylish. This guy, his movies, if anything.
Cool.
But Pusher trilogy is recommended.
All right, that's what I'm going to check out. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right, we're here with Frank, who's back, and he's going to do a subject near and dear to his heart. He's not even going to pick The Godfather, which I appreciate, which he very well could. I'm allowing it, but you got to come up with other movies in addition to.
Always glad to be here, Brian. Godfather I love, but there's Scarface, there's some of the old Cagneys, some of the Bogarts.
Which Scarface? The original or 83?
I like the Pacino version.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with one that won an Oscar for Best Picture.
Okay.
That's not The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to guess?
What era?
70s.
Okay. Okay. No, I'm drawing a blank.
I think it won for Best Picture.
Okay.
The Sting.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's right, because Lonigan is basically a mobster.
Is a mobster.
Yeah, I would have known. That's a great one.
And the Fix is in Chicago and reunites Newman and Redford, who are dynamic on screen together.
That's right.
And the story has a plot twist, and it's very well conceived and designed. The design of the 1930s is fabulous in that movie.
Well,
and the Marvin Hamlish music.
Absolutely. So I was going back to our previous episodes. One, I pick Lonigan, I think, as my number 4 villain.
No kidding.
Because great villain. I mean, Robert Shaw is amazing. And the soundtrack is great too. It's very simple, but it's perfect for that.
And just the scenes with the setup, the shutout.
Yeah. Oh, as good as Redford is, Newman is just terrific.
Oh, too. Newman, it's off the charts.
Yeah, he's so good. So that's a great one. Okay, so did you see The Sting 2 with Jackie Gleason?
No, I'm not a big, besides Godfather 2, I'm not a big sequel fan, but Robert Shaw was a villain in James Bond, Sean Connery from Russia with Love.
That's a great one. And he was also, of course, kind of the anti-hero. So, yeah. Okay, so what other... gangster
Wow.
/ mafia movies.
I came in to surprise you with that one. I didn't
You
give
did.
it
That
any
was a
more.
good-
Carlito's Way is another good
Yeah.
one I like. And there's another one that I just can't think of off the top of my head. Well, of course, Goodfellas and Casino, I'm sure, are mentioned a lot.
Mhm.
But there's another New York one that...
Bronx Tale?
No.
Around what era?
I want to say 70s or 80s.
Okay.
But so we had Carlito's Way. There was
Donnie Brasco?
There it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Donnie Brasco.
Johnny Depp's in it. too.
Yeah, he's Johnny Depp's terrific.
Yeah.
In it, it's a good movie
Mhm.
all the way through.
Johnny Depp's been in a few gangster films. He was in Gangster Squad, which was but he did a recent one called Black Mass, which is basically about Whitey Bulger.
And I haven't seen that.
It's worth seeing. It's dark, I mean, obviously, but he does a good job. You don't even realize it's Johnny Depp. And of course, The Departed, which Nicholson's character was basically, it was based
Whitey
on.
Bulger.
That's right.
Departed's a good one too.
That is a fun one. I mean, well, fun being it's
Donnie
well done.
Brasco's one I'll watch if I'm flipping through the channels
Really?
and see it. I'll stop and watch
Mhm.
it. I like the guy who is the capo, the guy with the cool hair who was in Reservoir Dogs, who's in the.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking
He
about.
was in Thelma and Louise as well.
Oh God, what's his name?
Michael. It's Michael something.
Yes, I will go back and add it in, but I can't remember his name.
I think I like because he had cool hair.
I think he was in The Natural too. Didn't he play Bump Bailey?
He did.
Yeah.
Good recall.
I can't remember his name, but you're right. It's Michael something.
I'm gonna say Moriarty, but I'm wrong. But
Yeah.
it's Michael something.
Yeah. Bump Bailey crashed to the wall.
Crashed to the wall.
Killed himself.
Exactly.
So we're gonna end on that note.
I like that.
a
That's
Bump
good
Bailey
gangster.
reference. Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the dynamic duo of Josephine and Malin. Always on a good Thursday. So this week, we're going to talk about the crime underworld, or mafia movies, or gangster movies, whatever you want to do. We're not going to limit, so this could be a wide range, so it doesn't have to be traditional. So first, I'll start with Josephine, and what are your favorite crime / gangster films?
So I don't have one exact favorite, but the ones that come to mind would be Infernal Affairs, the Hong Kong trilogy.
Okay.
So you guys saw The Departed, right?
Yes.
So The Departed was like the trilogy compacted into like one movie. So I know you were talking about your rule of like you can say The Godfather, but you have to say another one.
Yes.
Are people saying Scorsese movies? Because I feel like those like Goodfellas.
Goodfellas was brought up, but it's interesting. Most people haven't done the traditional obvious ones, which I find really interesting. So maybe I scared them off. But so like Frank said The Sting. Because Lonigan's kind of this underworld guy, but he's not your traditional mafia guy. So that's why I kind of did it that way. Obviously, to me, The Godfather is the best, but I want to hear other things.
I've got a Scorsese coming up.
Yeah,
no
so
spoilers,
that's good.
But,
No, that's good.
So I was gonna say Animal Kingdom, the Australian movie.
Yeah, you were telling me about this.
Have you seen this? Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of like a coming of age, but kind of like a little bit twisted. So there's this, I guess, adolescent kid. He's from a very unstable home life, and his mom dies, and I don't know what happened to his dad, but he calls up his grandmother and says, "Hey, can I live with you?" And it turns out his grandmother and his uncles are all this, very violent criminals, and Guy Pearce plays this detective who kind of sees the situation and tries to quote unquote like rescue this kid, not in this like heroic way, but in the kind of like a gentle way. Like, I get that you're in this kind of cusp of doing the right thing or the wrong thing, and I'm offering you a chance to kind of like rescue you from that. But it's really up to you. And so it kind of talks about, I guess, a big part of, mafia life is just these ties, like family ties or like loyalty ties that you just can't really seem to escape.
It blurs the lines, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I really love that movie a lot.
And it's been L.A. Confidential. Speaking of Guy Pearce, that's a great kind of crime underworld type movie, kind of the film noir of the modern era. So.
And I liked. Did you see The Road to Perdition?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that was a really great one. I thought Paul Newman.
It was one of his final roles, I think.
Yeah, and like Daniel Craig is in it, Stanley Tucci, and
Tom Hanks, right?
Tom Hanks, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. I mean, I think it was more of like a father-son type like exploring the dynamics
Yeah.
between, you know, different relationships and fathers and sons and like what you pass down and
Right.
stuff. But yeah, I thought that was a really great kind of crime underground.
Yeah, that's underrated too. People have kind of forgotten about that one.
I
That's a
know
good
Sam
one.
Mendes directed
Yeah.
that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And my other one besides The Departed, I thought of
A lot of people have said The Departed, so that's been interesting. Maybe it's fresh in their minds still. So yeah.
I really would encourage people to watch the trilogy. The third
Okay.
one, I don't even know what was going on with that. It felt like they just like had a bunch of leftover film and decided to cobble together a movie. But the first one is great. The second one, I mean, it really dives into kind of the motivations behind the first one because it's a prequel. And so I think in The Departed, the time frame was like 3 years that they were undercover. But in The Departed, it's a decade. It's 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot more kind of intense, and you meet the different people that they feel kind of loyal to in the different different departments, and it's easy to see how they kind of you lose your sense of identity and who you are and like why you were doing what you did in the first place. So it's really interesting.
Could you imagine being undercover for 10? I mean, you would totally lose yourself. Like, who are you at that point?
I mean, I think about what I was doing 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I can't even.
Well, I was still here, so nothing changes. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So those are
great
the ones
ones.
that I can think of right now.
Yeah. All right. So Malin, what?
So I'm the worst person to probably interview for gangster movies.
Don't say
because
that.
I don't necessarily even like gangster movies. I don't search them out.
Okay.
But there are organized crime movies that I do like, but probably for different reasons.
Which is good. I want a different perspective.
Okay, well, Casino I like because
Mhm.
of the architecture and the setting.
And that's Scorsese.
So yeah, and that's my Scorsese film. I just for a long time I was really obsessed with the history of Las Vegas and its connection to the kind of the culture of the United States because at the time I was in grad school for art and architectural history, and Las Vegas was like this horrible kind of naughty term. Like you don't study Vegas.
That's right.
It's been done before.
Mhm.
Like there's no more to learn from it. But the funny thing is that so much of Vegas is just a twisted kind of funhouse mirror on the United States, and it isn't that twisted, honestly. It's a bit more of maybe a magnifying glass than a twisted funhouse mirror.
Yeah, I like that, a magnifying glass as opposed to a twisted funhouse mirror. I mean, that's...
Yeah, but it's easy to think that because usually people, when they're trying to think seriously about Las Vegas, they use terms like Disneyfication, which is totally dismissive. It's not that it's like a theme park. It's America being American.
Yeah.
So I think Casino is one of my favorites because it captures mid-century Vegas, the architecture, the built environment, both residential, civic, but it also has that reflection of where it is located in terms of like organized crime and money between the city and the rest of the United States.
That's right.
Right, because people go to Las Vegas
to get
away from other people.
Absolutely.
But you can't hide.
Yeah.
And Las Vegas is just as connected to everywhere else.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of truth to it. I just love how the kind of historical network of organized crime and money in the United States during that period
Did they get into Reno at all, or was it mostly just Vegas? Because Reno kind of has a similar, like, kind of get lost, but it's probably easier to get lost in Reno than Vegas. I don't know, but
that I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
I don't remember. There were a bunch of places. It's been a long time since I've
Sure.
seen this film.
Yeah.
The other thing, just a quick cameo in that film that I love, going back to the architecture.
Yeah.
They have this one scene with Joe Pesci in a really dark bar, like in the first third of the film, and it happens to be the interior of the Moulin Rouge Hotel and Casino, and that was the first desegregated hotel in Vegas and possibly in the U.S.
Wow.
Opened in 55, closed in 55, and before I had a chance to go to the interiors, it had been burned by arson. So that's kind of my best peek into a really kind of down and dirty, off the strip, mid-century
That's
environment. It's
fascinating.
right there because it preserves in cinematic form a building that you wouldn't necessarily even associate with it. It's a historic structure that we don't have anymore.
Yeah.
So that's our kind of best glimpse into it, or the best glimpse I've had into it.
That's great.
That's just one. Okay, sorry. The Professional.
Yeah.
Did anybody mention The Professional?
No, we were just talking about this because of Luc Besson or Besson.
Yeah, Luc Besson. Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's got a new movie coming out, and there was another trailer.
Oh,
for it.
okay.
So it's kind of a sci-fi Fifth Element
type
one. But The Professional's amazing.
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like a little girl learning how to kill.
Natalie
going out
Portman's
for
first
revenge.
movie.
Like
Yeah.
a bloodthirsty little girl. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's great in it.
Yeah. And it really kind of, I think, established the mystique around the identity of the fixer.
Yeah.
Which you see again in Pulp Fiction, which is another, I guess, maybe.
No, definitely. That
kind of
definitely is
quasi-
Underworld. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got a fixer there.
Yep.
And it's kind of like the mystique that you have around like super secret spies, right? Where there are these mysterious figures. Well, then you have. I don't know of a fixer before The Professional. I'd never understood what that was or who that was,
Yeah.
and then that became like a character
Yeah.
archetype,
Mm-hmm.
at least in my understanding. And as soon as I saw Pulp Fiction, and they said, the wolf is a fixer. You're like, oh heck, I know exactly what that is. He's going to be the coolest guy in the film. And some people, I think he was.
I think Charles Bronson was in a movie that was remade with Jason Statham, but he basically played a hitman type film. He was a fixer for that too.
Yeah.
Kind of the quiet,
Yeah, it's just kind of like, what do I got to do to get this completely?
I think it was called The Mechanic. I want to say it's called The Mechanic.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, you know what? I think
Yeah. But it's originally a Charles Bronson movie from the 70s. So,
okay.
And Bronson's always good, so that's...
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
The main villain in The Professional, and his name's escaping me.
Gary
Oldman. He's amazing in that.
Yeah. I think that launched him,
Is
too.
he not also in The Fifth Element?
He is.
He is. Yeah.
I wonder which one came first. You would think that The Fifth Element would sink anyone. I mean, it didn't.
I want to say The Professional came out first. I think it's like 93, 94.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And then they went to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only other one I was going to mention is Miller's Crossing.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Coen Brothers film, tons of atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I didn't hunt it out because it was a mob film, and actually in a lot of ways, you could take the story arc, remove all of the organized crime elements, put in different character archetypes, and it could be another Coen film.
Absolutely.
It could be mistaken for several other existing Coen films. But I just love the atmosphere and the soundtrack and the cinematography. It's just one of those films that is just sumptuous to watch, and it's crazy violent and crazy funny and just
typical
super
Coen brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. Just very magical.
Yeah.
In a kind of special Coen Brothers dark, twisted way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I fell in love with that.
And it's often mentioned as one of the greatest films, actually. Like in
is it
general,
really?
it's always on a top list all the time.
Maybe I don't read lists enough because I never hear anybody talk about it, and I keep thinking of it as like this forgotten film. Even when people are talking about Coen Brother films, it's
Fargo
nobody ever
and
mentions it.
exactly.
Like sometimes somebody might mention Barton Fink.
Yeah.
But it's like, did they do anything before that? They well, maybe it's just short-term cinematic memory loss.
Part of it, yeah. But no, Miller's Crossing is amazing, and everyone in the film is terrific. Like,
it's
John Turturro just as the character actor, and he's so sleazy. Yeah.
Everybody's chewing at the scenery.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's not your tradition. I mean, it's not the Italian mob; it's the Irish mob. So it's
right.
Yeah. So it's different. Yeah.
I just thought of another one that we mentioned in one of the first podcasts, which is the cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover. That's
absolutely
that's an underground crime. Yeah, and that is intense. Have you seen it?
No, what year did that come out?
80s.
80s.
Is it late 80s?
90s, I think.
Okay.
Because I was a few years shy of being able to see it in the theater, and it was one of those ones. I was a twisted kid. I don't know. I really wanted to see that in the theaters, and I couldn't. So I'm thinking it's early 90s, 92?
Yeah, really. Because, it's one of the where it's just like, it's really beautifully directed, but it's so intense, and the threat of violence is always just hanging thick in the air.
Yeah. It's 89. I just looked it up.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
No, I got to see that now.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. I was trying to think walking over here, because if I'm not particularly interested in mobs, but I am interested in some movies that are about mobs.
Sure.
And Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover is absolutely one of my 3 to 5 favorite films.
Wow.
Absolutely adore that film. It's like Wings of Desire, Cook the Thief, His Wife and Her Lover, and some other films. I was trying to think of other mob like infusions that I just wasn't thinking of. And it's everywhere. It's so pervasive. Like I was thinking, is the Great Muppet Caper? Is that like a mob thing? No, not really.
But like somebody brought up a great point because we forget about comedies and comedy mob movies. So like Some Like It Hot is technically kind of dealing with the mob. They're trying to get away from the mobster. Remember they kind of just stumble upon like the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Yeah, and so they're on the run. But you don't really think of it as a mob movie because it's hilarious.
Right.
But technically, they're kind of dealing with that. So.
And then you have lots. Yeah, now I think that you do have comedies where main objective is just to get away from organized crime.
Exactly.
And it's just enough to say that they're organized crime as like an archetype. I mean, the movie doesn't necessarily delve into that.
Sure.
But like, I'm pretty sure like Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor films, at least like one or two had like a mob run for the hills. Kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, was it where one was blind and the other was deaf?
See no evil, hear no evil. Very underrated. Yes. That's a great movie.
Kevin Spacey's in that movie too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
and then even Analyze This, with Billy Crystal and De Niro playing your.
Did you guys see this movie called The Freshman?
Oh yeah, with Brando and Broderick.
Bruno Kirby's.
Yep, that's
I love that movie.
Yeah.
I think that's like a totally underrated 90s gem, I think.
Well, and Brando's, basically playing he's a parody of
like the pretentious film professor.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's just like he's showing everyone The Godfather and he's just like reciting it.
Yeah.
He's just so like insufferable.
That was a big deal when that came out because Brando kind of, he wouldn't come out for things and and he definitely that might have been one of his last movies as well.
It would have had to have been.
Yeah.
I think the Island of Dr. Moreau was the last one. It was shortly after.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, but really after The Godfather, he kind of he did what he wanted. He got kind of into his activism and things. I know he was in Superman. He played Jor-El, but that was a small scene and,
You know the character's name.
Of course. Of course. That one's famous. Yeah. Wait, Jor-El? No. What is Superman's name? Oh, David Gilbert would kill me. Jor-El is Superman, isn't it? No, he's Kal-El. Jor-El is the dad. I'm right.
Okay.
I'm right.
Yeah. No, I was totally assuming you were right. I had no way of knowing.
Yes. Basically Superman's father on Krypton.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you can say pretty much anything about anything. I'm just going to believe
he's Bruce Wayne's cousin. No, that's
right. Oh my gosh, the mapping and the incestuous like
Superman. Oh my god, yeah. Don't see Batman vs Superman though. That was pretty awful.
No, I think I'm saying.
You got Holly Hunter in it.
I do like Holly.
I was just like, oh my god, I might have to see it.
Yeah.
But Holly Hunter's not good in it. Is she good?
She's good in everything. It's she. I don't know if she saves the film, but it's she's very good. And I always like Amy Adams, and Amy Adams is
So I'm gonna go with some girlfriends to watch The Arrival. Or maybe.
Yeah, that comes out this week.
Arrival.
Yeah.
I just love her.
Yeah.
She's so great in everything.
And she plays Lois, so that's
Well, okay, so we're talking about underground movies.
Yep.
And, like, what can get folded into that, which is comedies. I wonder, did anyone bring up any, like, prison movies?
No, nobody did. I'm trying to think of funny prison movies.
Well, not funny prison movies, but, because of, when, like, in a lot of prisons, there is that kind of organization.
That's true.
To survive.
Like American Me?
American Me, I was thinking
that one's brutal. Yeah.
Have you seen that? Is it a French movie called A Prophet or The Prophet?
No,
Prophet?
no.
You haven't seen it? No, not even you?
Not even me.
But yeah, no, that was it's this guy in this prison, just like what he has to do to survive, and I think everyone was thinking he was going to win like the best foreign film Oscar, so there was that, and then another really great one called Starred Up.
No.
With Ben Mendelsohn and that guy that was in the Angelina Jolie movie that she directed. With that guy, Louis, that guy that was in World War II, but he's an Olympic runner.
Yes.
Jack something. But anyway, so he was in this prison, and he's basically like been in and out of like prisons his whole life, and then his dad is also he gets transferred to this prison. His dad is also in, and it's also similar to Animal Kingdom, where he's got this choice whether he can like try to kind of like resist getting pulled into the system with his dad.
Right.
And, at the same time, his dad, which is not a really good influence, is trying to kind of protect him from, being too much like him. And it's I guess it has that kind of flavor of like a gangster movie. And
sure.
The organized thing. But
the family. Yeah.
The family, yeah.
Speaking of, there's a Luc Besson movie called The Family that's actually pretty good with Michelle Pfeiffer and De Niro, and they're in the witness protection program, and they're in France. They're living in France while they're doing it. So
that's Luc Besson.
Yeah.
Cool. He also didn't Besson do? No, he didn't. The vampire film with Anne Perriot from La Femme Nikita.
He did La Femme Nikita. I know that. So.
But that was a different director.
Okay.
Never mind. Well, anyway.
Yeah. No, those are all good. So.
Yeah.
Okay, this week, super producer Lindley is super prepared because she has a list and everything.
Because I had to make up for last week, my rambling.
Well, if it wasn't for last week, I couldn't have done that amazing editing job. So it did work out fine.
But I will correct that. I was joking when I said that.
Exactly.
But I will correct that on another podcast.
She does really love soundtracks.
Yes.
She doesn't hate them.
And my Apple Music was wiped out when I switched laptops, so I don't have my soundtracks on my laptop.
Okay, so you were
I was not able to look up which soundtracks I have and love.
But that's okay. We've been talking about that.
And I was not prepared with a list. I appreciate the people that come with lists and do their research. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so for this week, I'll hand this off to you, but what are your favorite crime, gangster, mafia?
Okay, so wait, and I also want to talk, because I know you said mobster movies excluding Godfather.
Yeah, I mean, you could say The Godfather.
Well, no, I do have to talk about The Godfather.
Yeah, no,
But
sure.
I'm talking about it because I want to get back to what I think is the essence of this podcast, which is damn good movie memories.
That's correct.
Meaning it's memories you have surrounded about you watching movies or something that evokes a memory.
That's a great point. See, you are producing now. So
yes.
Go ahead.
No,
That's
because
a good point.
I love that. Yeah, I thought that was like what we usually talk about. Like,
Absolutely.
I remember when I was da-da-da.
Right.
So Godfather.
Yes.
I have two distinct memories about this, or a whole series. When I was in high school, I got really sick, like mono or pneumonia or something like that. I can't remember.
One of the two.
It was one something like that, where I was in bed for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And out of school, in bed, off the swim team.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom would bring me, VHS cassette, every day, like just a stack of movies to watch. So watched all the Godfathers at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Am I running too long? You keep looking at the time.
No, I look at levels and everything. Now you're letting the scene
I'm too
go.
far away. Okay,
yes.
sorry.
Yes.
I'll move closer. I'm moving closer to the box.
Yeah, I'd have to edit
you can
this
edit
now.
this out later.
So you're home alone?
I'm home.
Yeah,
I'm home, just in bed, just watching movies all day. So I watched The Godfather. I actually watched a bunch of Al Pacino movies.
Yeah.
Serpico.
Dog Day
I don't know if that counts. Dog Day Afternoon. Yeah, all the classic
Mm-hmm.
Scent of a Woman. Scent of a Woman? Is
Oh,
that the movie?
So you didn't watch Scarface, did you?
No.
Okay.
Just because, I could have watched it. I'm just not that into that type of movie.
Right.
But Godfather was really great. Loved it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I really love not being sick, but I have no problem with laying
Just
in bed for
vegging
2
out.
weeks and vegging out. So then when I was on maternity leave with my firstborn, with my son, that was basically the experience. The first month at least that I stayed home and just watched movies all day long. So I rewatched the Godfather movies. So, but I have no problem with that. I can stay home and veg out in front of movies and watch old movies. I mean, I would love to have like 2 weeks of my life. I would love to have a child again just so I could stay home for maternity leave and then give it to someone else.
So rainy days are good because you can just, it's an excuse.
Yeah, but with the drought, there's no
That's
rain.
It's a good point.
It's such a pain.
And then
it's so horrible.
You were on your sabbatical, and I think you took a month and just caught up on TV.
Yeah, I probably didn't watch. I mean, I probably watched bad. I didn't watch good classic movies.
Okay.
I don't think. I don't have that much. Yeah. Anyway, it wasn't as much when you have kids. It's not as much free time as you think. Yeah.
See, well, I have no kids. This is why I can do the podcast.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
This is my kid. But no, The Godfather. So 1 and 2, obviously classics. Have you actually seen the third?
I have seen the third. It was really bad, and
yeah.
I don't even think I watched it when I was sick in high school. Because I don't know if it was out or it wasn't. It had
Probably
just
wasn't.
come out. I don't know
Yeah.
when it came out. The 90s or was it the 80s?
I want to.
So this was the 80s.
It might have been 1990.
Yeah, so I definitely didn't see it, but I
Yeah.
did watch it when I was home on maternity leave.
It's just it's.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I loved having nothing to do. Like, people really hate the newborn stage. They're like, oh my God, I gotta get out of the house. I'm going crazy. And I'm like, I could like live here forever.
Right,
Yeah,
because the
I
kids
don't
aren't
have to
moving
move.
around.
Yeah,
or anything.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was
Pretty
good.
easy.
No, I
Okay.
appreciate you bringing that up. I thank you.
Reminded of
Yes.
a movie. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Godfather is just so. Yeah, so great, so amazing.
It's the only reason I said don't say it, and
because it's going to be
everyone's
everybody's favorite,
and
exactly,
rightfully so. It is the best.
It is the best
mafia.
I mean, I love.
Yeah,
I just love it. Fredo.
And it's
we always
of
call people Fredos.
Yeah,
Man, he's such a Fredo.
But it's also one of the few movies that are super long that it doesn't feel like it's 3.5 hours.
No, it's so good.
Yeah.
It also transports you to I love how it goes back in time to when the fat guy is coming up, when he's Robert De Niro is playing him.
Oh, yeah, Vito.
Robert De Niro is playing Vito Corleone. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The young Robert De Niro.
But the great part about De Niro is he barely speaks in that role.
Exactly.
But it's he had him down.
So good.
Yeah, and then Bruno
good.
Kirby as his buddy was
I know, isn't
awesome.
it crazy what happened to Bruno Kirby?
Well, he died, but...
Oh, he did die.
Yeah, he
so did
died
Fredo.
young. Yeah, and Fredo,
died young.
Yeah, Fredo's
married to or with Meryl Streep. Yeah,
I think it was John Cazale.
I don't know what his name, the actor's name is.
But he was kind of the Beatles of. He was only around for a short time, but he
Deer Hunter did everything great.
The two Godfathers,
kind of like James Dean.
Yeah, and Dog Day Afternoon. I mean, those are like
right.
three
He's
classics.
The boyfriend or the girl, the boyfriend.
The boyfriend of
Dog
Pacino.
Day Afternoon, of Pacino and Dog Day Afternoon. Right?
No. He's the partner.
Oh, okay. He's
yes.
not the boyfriend.
No.
Who's the boyfriend of Dog Day Afternoon?
I don't remember his name.
I think
but
he's I want to say he's like Latino, maybe, or Puerto. I mean, I think the character is Puerto Rican. Yeah.
That's a crazy movie. That's a great movie.
Such a great movie, but it's based on a real.
It's a real story.
Yeah. Okay. And Serpico.
So Serpico's amazing.
Serpico. Yeah, I love it.
That's a great one.
And I love when in Rushmore he recreates Serpico as one of his plays.
I always used to get Serpico and Marathon Man confused, but
Marathon Man scared me.
Speaking of the Nazis are always bad.
Yeah.
The Marathon Man,
the dentist Nazi, right?
Is it safe? Yeah.
That scared. Yeah, that really terrified me.
That is
Marathon Man. That's something I watched way too young. Not really watching. It was just kind of on in the background.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't supposed to be watching it, and then
that's
scary.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's not. Okay, so your list.
My list.
Yes.
So Midnight Run. We talked about it. Love Charles Grodin. I think. Yeah.
And De Niro. Yeah.
Yeah, and De Niro. Yeah, I just love it. It's a great buddy. I don't know. It's just great. Such a great movie.
I'm pretty sure my parents didn't let me watch that because it is filled with
profanity.
Yes.
Because I'm like, it's pretty innocuous.
Yeah, there's no adult themes, but except for the language.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
Yeah, it is good.
Married to the Mob.
Yes, so we're going comedy gangster movies. This
is
good.
Comedy gangster movies. Yeah. That's what I would prefer to watch. I
don't remember much about Married to the Mob.
Yeah,
so.
Because we were talking about Mob. I was prepping. It's on Hulu, so I started to watch it. It's not great, but it's pretty funny. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I will continue to watch it. But Matthew Modine is really cute in it. I forgot he was once like a cute
Vision Quest.
Yeah, and he's like her love interest, right? Once. So she's married to Alec Baldwin, who is really funny. I mean, he's not in the movie very long. He gets killed quickly. But, his name is Cucumber Frank.
That's right.
And it's Cucumber because he's like I guess with a lot of ladies.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Which I didn't even get that reference.
I would have never understood that. Yeah.
And they're like, his name's Cucumber for a reason, but because he's sleeping with the boss's girlfriend or something, mistress. Yeah, so.
But Modine, I mean, we get into 80s movies. Vision Quest, that would have
Modine
been a great.
Really big.
He was,
and now he's in Stranger Things.
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
But Vision Quest would have been a good soundtrack one. I forgot.
Oh yeah, what's in the soundtrack though? I remember.
Journey, like Only the Young.
Oh right.
There's a Dio song, and there's like all sorts.
Dio song.
I know. And there we go. But I think the hits of the 80s are on. Oh, Madonna's in it. Madonna does Crazy For You.
Right. Yeah. That's like the main song.
I think she's actually, she's there performing.
She's in the movie.
Yeah, they're at a club.
Yeah, so I remember
that. Is a
like the Plumsums and
that's right.
Okay, Married to the Mob, Bullets Over Broadway.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it.
Yeah, so. Well, this is probably the only post-SUNY Woody Allen movie I did watch and like. Well, I mean, I've watched them all, but and I don't, I try not to be a fan of Woody Allen because of the whole SUNY. I don't know, I have a problem with him sleeping with her daughter, but sleeping with his stepdaughter, but because I love his earlier movies, but Bullets Over Broadway is really, really funny.
We can definitely do a Woody Allen.
And he's not in it. So it's one of the first movies that he was finally like, yes, you were like too aged to be going after these young actresses. Yeah. Like, please recognize that.
Exactly.
And then he started imposing other actors like in his traditional role.
Right. We could definitely do a Woody Allen episode.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
Woody Allen. But all the young young bucks
The early.
wouldn't be able to do it.
Probably
young
not.
kids here, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe if their parents introduce them to it.
Maybe. He's kind of like Clint Eastwood in the sense that he's always in his movies.
Not anymore, though, right?
Clint's pretty much retired.
But not Woody Allen isn't in them anymore
right,
either. He now, he had Jesse Eisenberg really play him, and someone else, was it Kenneth Branagh, played like a complete Woody Allen caricature.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just imitating him throughout the movie, and it was so irritating and terrible. Yeah, it was just terrible.
Speaking of, I love his stand-up. Like, people forget what an amazing stand-up he was.
He was really funny, but he's so awful.
He's so creepy. We could do on directors that are too creepy to, like, Polanski.
Let's do it on all creepy But you love their which movies of the creepy directors do you love? Polanski.
It's basically Polanski.
Polanski and Woody Allen. Bill Cosby, but he's not a director.
We should also do directors
I
that
don't
were...
think Fat Albert counts.
Bill Cosby. We should we could also do blacklisted directors or writers
like
from the
Elia
McCarthy era.
Kazan and stuff. Yeah.
With favorite movies from those.
I would only know. I mean, I wouldn't have known about it.
Well, didn't Woody Allen did a movie about a blacklisted writer, right? Didn't he?
What's the movie called?
I think it was in the early '80s. I'd have to look it up, but
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he did. So
Probably. That sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, let's get back on topic.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's my fault.
Okay, Bullets Over Broadway.
Yep.
So Usual Suspects.
Yeah, of course.
But then you gave me this one, Some Like It Hot.
Yeah, and actually...
which I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Because you don't really think about it because you don't really think of the mob
But
going
it
after
is
him.
going after. That's why they dress up as women. Because
Right.
they're hiding from the mob.
And
I think a lot of those movies were the bad person is they're hiding from the mob, right?
And I think it was, what was it,
kind
the
of
Saint...
permeated the culture of the 50s. Yeah.
It was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, I think they stumbled upon.
Right, yes, exactly.
And then they had to go.
So goofy. So funny.
But that's what's interesting about mafia movies, when they started, is because Capone was still around.
I know, right.
It's
yeah,
all amazing that's
Yes.
that they were actually dealing with it. And I guess it was...
it was a real... Well, I guess it still is a thing.
It
The
is.
Sopranos and all that, of course. It is
But
a real thing.
the movie Manhattan Melodrama with Myrna Loy, Clark Gable, and William Powell, it's about, I think, a crime movie. And I think Gable plays the crime boss or whatever. And that's how they caught John Dillinger in real life. He was going to see that film.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The FBI
That's
got
crazy.
a tip, and then they shot him outside of that movie theater. And then they would...
Did they capture him or did they shoot
killed
to
him.
kill?
And
Shot
then,
to kill. Okay.
and then I know Myrna Loy was upset because they were promoting the film, like
It was
the
bad
film that Dillinger
publicity.
shot when he got
Yeah,
killed.
yeah.
So that was kind of fascinating. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
so
wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. Okay, so Miller's Crossing.
yeah, that's Malin's favorite.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love any of
The
Coen
Coen
Brothers
brothers.
movies. I love
And he
their
brought up a
movies,
good
so-
point that people forget that it wasn't. I'm losing my train of thought, but
Probably because I'm all over the
no.
place. Let me talk about my maternity leave some more.
They always think of Fargo, but they forget Miller's
I
Crossing.
love Fargo, but
Yeah.
Fargo's not a mob hit.
No,
is
not at
it?
all. It's just a true crime.
Yeah, he just
crime.
hired hitmen
Yeah.
to kill his wife. That's probably one of my favorite movies of all time, is Fargo. One
Fargo,
of my
yeah.
favorite movies. Love it.
Yeah,
Fargo's
it is.
amazing.
Have
yeah.
you watched the TV show at all?
Yes,
okay.
it's great.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched season 2,
Mhm.
but I'm going to have to break down and buy it because season 1 came on Hulu.
Oh,
so
okay.
I say I watched it for free, but now I subscribed to Hulu and watched it. But then, so I'm waiting for season 2 to come on Hulu, but it hasn't yet.
So you
I'm
need a
pretty
third
soon.
child to catch up on.
I know. I
that's
wish.
it.
I need to take a week off and
Yeah.
I'll watch. There's so many shows that I want
I
to do
know.
that with. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's really
I should
great.
say, yeah.
It's good. It's a complete homage, but like great. Kind of just the same setting,
Right.
but not the same characters at all.
Obviously.
There's not the same thing, but
Yeah.
similar.
Mhm.
Yeah, just the themes, and it's just so good. And what's his name is great in it, Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's always great.
Yeah.
But he's really good in that.
But Miller's Crossing it's one of the more underrated. Like, it's always on the top lists of things.
It's critically
Yeah.
acclaimed. I
Mhm.
think it's got to be in like best movies of
Definitely.
all time list. But yeah.
That's a great one because it's not your traditional. It's Irish instead of Italian.
It's good, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Now, what's the other one they did? I wonder if that. Okay, I won't blabber on because that'll take too long. Okay, I'll move on. And then I don't know if this is actually a mob movie. Jackie Brown.
Yeah, I
think it is,
yeah,
right? But I
kinda.
love that movie.
Yeah.
That's a really great. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like
And that's
it's
very underrated. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody would.
Tarantino. Like I would say, Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, Pulp
Yes.
Fiction. Those are all kind of underworld crime.
Aren't they? Okay, so
Yeah.
not mob specifically.
But close.
Reservoir Dogs is mob.
Definitely.
It has
I
to
mean,
be mob.
Yeah. And
That
nobody mentioned
movie
that.
killed me. I had to watch that in the theater.
Yeah,
and
no
like,
pun intended.
No, it was like the torture scene
Oh.
where he cuts off his ear.
Yes.
That just Yeah. And then
Isn't Michael Madsen's in that, right?
Yeah, he's great in that. But what
Frank
else has he done?
Wait, Frank brought up a movie that he was in. Was it Donnie Brasco he was in?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very distinctive looking.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else he's been in besides Reservoir Dogs. If you say Johnny, but I don't know Donnie Brasco.
And you never saw The Natural, but he played a character in the Robert Redford movie.
No, I have seen The Natural.
He plays the guy that crashes through the fence.
I wouldn't remember anything about it. I saw it very young.
Okay, there's a guy that dies that crashes through the fence while he's trying to catch a fly ball, and he's dating, I think, Kim Basinger at the time in the film.
Oh, in the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
the
so
character that Kim Basinger.
The character. That's correct.
Kim Basinger's in The Natural?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen The Natural. I know I've seen the scene where he knocks out the lights.
Right.
So maybe that's all I've seen.
But that's when we do greatest sports movies. That's definitely one of my
that's
favorites.
a good one to do with sports movies. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. That might be me, the only one doing it, but that's okay.
I know. I'm like, sports movies. No.
Who's yours?
I'll have. What's that? The donkey kicker one? Didn't we?
Gus.
I'll name Gus. It's my favorite movie.
Voyage. Yeah. That's it. We could do best Disney movies that were like the.
From the Nutty Professor.
Yeah,
those
ones. Yeah, the live action ones.
Yeah. Well, we already did Freaky Friday.
That was your first movie.
Isn't that a Disney movie though?
It is. Yeah.
Maybe it's not.
No, it is.
But it reminds me of Disney movies.
It
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Okay.
70s had really good Disney.
Not
good, but they're kind of feel good.
I think we're just remembering them better
That's
than
true.
they are. Yeah.
There wasn't much out back then. And then those are the top. What about The Untouchables?
Yeah, Untouchables. That was I loved that movie when I saw it and got really into reading about that era. Right.
Yeah.
Then I read a bunch of books about it, and then I was going to say when I saw what were we just talking about? Oh, Reservoir Dogs.
Yes. Yeah.
I went to see it. And my ex-boyfriend was sitting, and I was on a date with someone else who was friends with my ex-boyfriend. So we had so we were both in the theater together, and he was up in front of us. So it was like he got up at some point and came back, and it was like, duck! It was just really awkward.
Why didn't you bring this up for the date? The worst date.
I guess I didn't think of it as a date because I was. We weren't cheating. I mean, we had already broken up, but I was then
still
dating
too new.
his friend. But it was still awkward to be dating.
Yeah, the
his
friend. Yeah.
Right? And we both felt terrible about it.
Right. Not terrible enough not to go see The Untouchables.
Not terrible
or
enough to
Reservoir
stop
Dogs.
seeing each other, but yeah.
But
we did feel terrible about it, but yeah.
Duck. All right.
Yeah.
Any other ones?
No, that's all. Sorry.
Okay.
That's long enough.
We'll end with Duck. So I'm here with Samantha, who is saying she's not prepared, but I think she is. I think she's going to surprise us here. So.
Hey there.
Okay, so what are your favorite crime, gangster, mafia films?
Yeah, so I don't really watch gangster mafia movies.
Okay.
I guess everyone's probably talking about The Godfather.
No,
Really?
I made a point of making sure, like, you can say The Godfather, but you need more.
Won't.
Yeah, perfect.
I won't say it. I actually only watched it a couple of years ago for the first time because
And
I felt it was my duty. As a film person.
But so, how did you feel actually watching it? Did it live up to all the hype, or?
Yeah, I think I watched like a marathon. It was on TV, so I recorded them all and just watched them. So it all kind of blended into one movie in my mind.
Right.
But
so you saw 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So, and you like Sofia Coppola, so
are
you?
Yeah.
So are you as angry as like the purist?
No,
yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even remember, really. But yeah, no, I like The Godfather. I'm Sicilian. I feel like I kind of
You kind of have to watch it.
right?
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's not really my thing.
That's okay though.
But yeah, so when you mentioned crime movies, I was kind of thinking about like something that came to mind, and I of course think of weird, obscure stuff because that's just what I do. So for some reason, I was like also looking through a bunch of lists online.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, my favorite movie, well, one of my favorite movies of all time kind of fits into this category. So it is the 1960 film Breathless.
Oh, okay,
by Jean-Luc Godard, the French New Wave filmmaker. And the whole movement was kind of inspired by American films, and this movie in particular paid homage to Humphrey Bogart, who did a lot of kind of those like film noir, dark crime movies, and the whole like Rat Pack kind of look.
Yeah.
So that kind of played into this movie, which was it's just basically kind of this really stupid guy who's obsessed with Humphrey Bogart, and then he has a bit of a criminal past. So the movie is kind of him on the lam.
Okay.
And he eventually, well, I don't want to give it away, but there's a famous end scene where he reaches his demise.
So is he wearing like the overcoat and everything?
Yeah, so he has the hat, the coat, and
Mm-hmm.
this was filmed in like 1959, 60 Paris, which is like 20 years from like when these movies actually came out.
Yeah.
So it has this like American influence, and
so is this all in French or is it?
It's a French movie.
Okay. See,
so you have to read some.
Oh no. Yeah. That's okay though. So, but it's definitely worth. It's a comedy or is it?
It's kind of comedic, but it's more of like a. It's a crime movie, so it's a quick paced. Kind of there's some actiony bits in there. But yeah, and then he also made another couple movies that have the same theme of kind of like low-level crime guys who kind of get involved with like these gangs. There's one called Band of Outsiders, and then another one called Pierrot Le Fou, which is like Pierrot the Madman, kind of this crazy guy. And yeah, Band of Outsiders actually inspired Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. There's the dancing scene was pulled directly from the Band of Outsiders movie. So
I think Tarantino's production company is called Band of Outsiders.
It is.
There you go.
Yeah, Band Apart.
Okay.
Band Apart. Yeah. So he was really inspired by Godard and kind of the New Wave movement. And how he kind of filmed and dealt with these types of kind of stupid criminals in a way. Was there anything else?
That's a good one.
But yeah,
now I have to see it.
They're really cool movies. They kind of joke around with kind of Americana and like 40s and 50s films. But they're like pretty modern feeling at the same time.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Samantha.
You're welcome.
So we're here with David, and David's going to give his favorite. Well, we kind of talked about it. So we're going crime, gangster, like how we.
I was thinking just like mob stuff.
Okay, perfect.
Because I was trying to think, like I was telling you earlier, I was trying to think of anything that's not Robert De Niro. Pacino.
Scorsese.
Anything directed by Scorsese. And it's really limiting. At least, like, because I didn't do any research this time.
Right,
I
that's
didn't
okay.
have time. But
you're one of the few that can wing it. And,
so I was just like racking my brain. I was like, all the mob things I can think of are either Scorsese, Godfather, or
Coppola.
What's his face? Guy Ritchie. All of his things are like
that's
stuff.
True. That's a good point.
I don't know. Guy Ritchie, as far as I like Snatch, as far as his stuff. Ever since then, he kind of followed like a really similar kind of like not template, but just the vibe of all of his movies are very like that's so Guy Ritchie. Like he has like a new not King Arthur, but do you remember what it is? I think it is King Arthur, and it's like it's like trying to like make it urban and like. From the streets, and it's like it's medieval. Like this is ridiculous, but so yeah, he's I don't know, he's iffy. But as far as mob things go,
exactly.
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
Yeah, Legend of the Sword.
That's coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Richie.
Almost as great of a title as Origin of Evil.
Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, so the mob.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's stay focused here.
Bronxdale.
Yeah.
Bronxdale, I think it's a really cool mob movie because it is like absolutely mob related. Like all the characters are going through like these, kind of typical mobster scenarios and stuff, but it's a coming of age tale. Kind of like masked behind crime activity and being around mob bosses. And, it's like really cool how this kid, his real dad in the movie is Rob De Niro, but it's like kind of like not badass Rob De Niro.
Right.
He's like more straight-laced Rob De Niro. And so the kid growing up around all these mobsters sees how cool and like almost like celebrity-ish the mob bosses
Right.
are. And so he starts to like idolize, not even idolize, but just like, you know, the happenstance of the movie.
Yeah.
The mob boss like takes
Chaz-
a liking to
yeah.
him. Yeah, Chad Palminteri,
He's
who's
great,
way
yeah.
cool in
Yeah.
it. And yeah, he takes a liking, and then it's like Tale of Two Dads kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
My hairstylist Sarah picked that one. That's her favorite gangster movie. Actually, it might be her favorite movie in general.
It's
So,
a
yeah.
really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was Rob De Niro's directorial debut.
That's right. I
think.
was about to say. Yeah.
And I think it was like an early HBO Films production.
You're right.
I think. And yeah, 'cause I remember seeing that as kind of like, HBO makes movies?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And now fast forward, it's like they do everything.
That's right. That's
But,
right. It's
yeah.
gonna be the like Netflix. You know?
Totally.
Yeah. So that's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a I really like that one.
All right. Yeah.
And then as far as other ones go, it kind of counts. It's like kind of throwaway and cheesy and silly, but Analyze This.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
even Analyze That is it's pretty bad,
It's-
but
yeah, it's not even
they're like
passable.
really goofy and they're
Yeah.
silly, and yeah, it's taking the trope and playing with it. But I think there was a time when Rob De Niro started doing comedy and he was pretty good at it because
Yeah.
it was like still like a new thing, and now it's just kind of
Self-parody.
Like, well, yeah. But I thought those were kind of funny.
Yeah, because I think Crystal was right off City Slickers, and I think this might have been his next big one.
Yeah.
That was actually really good. And Lisa Kudrow plays his fiance.
Yeah,
or wife.
yeah, that's yeah.
No, that is a really good one. It wasn't Billy Crystal in that. What was it? Forget Paris or something like that. Or was that afterwards? Yeah.
That was before.
Okay.
I think Forget Paris was like a '90s thing.
Okay. Yeah, because he had some really big hits, and they had some like
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't he in one with Yao Ming or something like that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Was no.
It was like he was like the 7 foot. Yeah,
The My Giant, but I thought the My Giant. No.
What was the? Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's right. He played with another basketball player, but I thought he played like a basketball referee or something like that. Maybe I'm totally off here, but it was either Yao Ming or one of the giant European senators that was in a movie, like George Miroslav or something like that. Or, I'm gonna have to go back.
He
and look.
was a baseball announcer.
Yeah.
In that terrible
With the
grandpa.
Ben
grandparent-
Midler.
Yeah. Whatever that grandparent movie was.
Well, to make it local, he broadcasted at the Fresno Grizzlies stadium. That's where they filmed it, I guess. So that was kind of interesting.
I mean, yeah, he has a good radio voice.
Oh,
like
yeah,
announcer
and he
voice.
loves baseball. Like, he's a huge Yankee fan.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But I guess as far as like mob things, another one that I really dig is The Departed.
Oh yeah,
for like a little bit newer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course it's Scorsese. But
did you see Black Mass?
No.
Okay.
Is it
Johnny Depp
Yeah.
plays Whitey Bulger, and the Nicholson character is based on Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
So.
Is it good? I heard not good.
It's
things.
okay. Depp's great. Like Johnny Depp's amazing. He doesn't even look like him.
Yeah.
But the movie's kind of eh. And Gangster Squad's kind of terrible.
I saw a little bit of Gangster Squad, and for a movie about like mobsters and killing and like guns, it was boring.
It was really boring.
Yeah.
And I love the 20s era gangster movies, and it didn't pan out.
Yeah,
I'm just still trying to figure out what the basketball movie that Billy Crystal's in.
Departed. I love how everybody has really bad Boston accents, except for Marky Mark and Matt Damon.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Town was Ben Affleck's mob movie. That one was pretty good.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
That's a really, actually, nobody's mentioned that. That's an excellent film. Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forget Paris.
Yeah, My Giant.
And My Giant. So what was his name? What was it? George Mirison. Yeah, horrible. What was the one with Yao Ming? Wasn't Yao Ming in a basketball movie?
I don't think he's acted.
Ming. Acting. Here we go, folks. Totally professional here.
The Town, awesome Boston crime movie.
Let's stay on
It's kind of related to the mob, I think, or I think they're just bank robbers, actually. So,
Well, it's kind of the crime underworld,
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, they're not. I don't think they're affiliated. Or wait, no, they are kind of affiliated.
Were they?
Wasn't he screwing her? Like Affleck wanted to get out, and then somebody wouldn't let him. I'm trying to think if he screwed over someone. Yeah, so it was kind of the balding guy with the mustache. Wasn't he like the main guy?
Man, I can't even remember.
I
just remember that the end when they're trying to get out with like the armored car.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah.
Wait, no, it's the florist, right? Is it? Am I thinking of another movie? But there's like a florist guy. He like acts like a florist, but he's really like the mob guy. I could have sworn.
No.
Maybe I have to watch The Town again.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on Yao Ming, thinking he was in.
Thinking he was in a Billy Crystal movie.
Yeah, I don't know why Yao Ming. Oh man.
IMDb has that feature where you can plug in two people. And
Yes, it is. It's this guy.
Oh,
he is a florist.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
Pete Postlethwaite. Yeah, he plays Fergus. Yeah, and that's his henchman, the Stain guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I'm not completely crazy.
Yeah.
Those are all good. All right. Well, thank you, David. We'll end on. I wish Yao Ming was in a movie. Thank you again to everyone who agreed to be on the show. It's fun as always. Again, the show wouldn't be as good without your interviews. So again, if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and you're interested in being on the show, let me know. Okay, time for the plugs. You need to go to iTunes. All right? I know I say this all the time. So if you do have an iPhone, go to iTunes, check out Damn Good Movie Memories, rate and review the show. This gets us higher in the algorithm and makes us more popular. You can always go to Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. You can go to our Facebook page and like the page so you'll get all the updates when they become available. And you can always go to YouTube at Damn Good Movie Memories. All right, until next week, enjoy. Don't forget your shinebox. Don't forget to not mess with Edward G. Robinson. Yeah, see? And we'll see you next week.
I think maybe you got a little too much sugar in your diet. We do things differently around here, Dan. Put the gun away.
Maybe I will and maybe I won't.
Stash the rod, Danny.
You shouldn't grab me, Johnny. My mother grabbed me once.